that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
New developments about the body found in Lake Thunderbird. We have the latest. Temperatures are taking a plunge. Our weather experts tell you what your next few days will look like. An outrage at the Capitol over new legislation. We're live with more. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Olivia Daig.
And I'm Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi. We begin tonight with breaking news. There are new developments on the case of a woman's body found at Lake Thunderbird. A Norman man is behind bars facing charges in the murder.
The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation says that 30-year-old Austin Godwin turned himself in at the Cleveland County Jail today. He is being charged with first-degree murder and unlawful disposal of a body.
We will keep you updated as we learn more about the situation.
And we've been having some warmer weather today, but don't count on Oklahoma to stay consistent.
Yeah, that's right. We can expect a big temperature drop tonight. OU Nightly meteorologist Lauren Brand is in studio live with more. Lauren?
Yeah, guys, taking a look at some of these current temperatures right now, we can see this cold front pushing through the state right now. It hasn't quite impacted Norman just quite yet. We're sitting around 73 degrees, but it's just about to start impacting OKC. It'll start cooling down within the next couple of minutes, really. And looking up at the Panhandle, where that cold front has already pushed through, Guyman is sitting at 34 degrees, so they're around that freezing mark, and even just a little bit warmer here in Woodward. And again, Idabel around the 70s as well, but eventually that's going to push through. We're all going to start to cool down, but we also have a severe weather threat for Sunday. We are sitting right now for Norman. We are sitting at a slight risk, just a little bit more of a threat here in western Oklahoma. So if you're in Elk City, Woodward, or even a little bit of the metro, you might see just some of those impacts. But coming up in Maine weather, I'm going to talk to you about some fire weather conditions, some roller coaster temperatures, and your stormy weekend ahead.
Thank you, Lauren. Protesters interrupted the Oklahoma House of Representatives this morning. During proceedings, OU Nightly reporter Pepper Papura was there and is live at the Capitol to tell us what happened. Pepper, why was there so much outrage?
That's right, guys. There was a committee that heard this morning about a bill that would criminalize some drag performances if they're in a presence of a minor. Well, committee heard that, sent it to the floor, and that upset some activists.
Is drag safe for kids? LGBTQ+ activists say it is, but House District 54 Representative Kevin West is pushing a bill that says it's harmful.
I hope that we send a clear message that we want to protect the children from these harmful acts.
The House Judiciary Criminal Committee asked questions about House Bill 2186 Wednesday morning. During proceedings, West told them he was worried about how public drag performances could impact children.
I was very careful to put in there the harmful to minors part.
But the people that host these public events say there's nothing to worry about.
Is this narrative and this rhetoric that our community is harmful to minors? That couldn't be further from the truth.
Instead, protesters say this bill isn't about the kids. It's about queer people.
Just another bill to scare and criminalize LGBTQIA+ people.
The reason? House Bill 2186 is just one of many the Oklahoma legislations created that could impact the LGBTQ+ community.
Different language every time, or different targets every single time. And so we're all just kind of like collectively exhausted from fighting this fight.
That's why Ezra Koenig, the humanities representative and only openly transgender person in student government, wrote a bill to take a stand for queer people at the University of Oklahoma.
Us as a body, we don't support this.
That bill was approved last night by the Student Government Association, and now it's going to go to their graduate students. If it's approved, it'll be sent to legislators here at the Capitol. Live in Oklahoma City, I'm Pepper Papura, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Pepper. And multiple indictments are recommended by the Georgia grand jury that looked into the 2020 presidential election. CNN's John Lawrence has the latest.
The roughly 7-month probe into former President Donald Trump's actions in Georgia after the 2020 election ended last week.
We heard a lot of very compelling things, like a lot of very compelling evidence, a lot of very interesting things, and things that we didn't expect.
But the matter is far from closed. Georgia grand jury foreperson Emily Kohrs says the panel is recommending multiple indictments. Kohrs didn't give specifics, but
we definitely heard a lot about former President Trump, and we definitely discussed him a lot in the room. And I will say that when this list comes out, there are no major plot twists waiting for you.
the former president has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing regarding the matter and claims the investigation was politically biased. He also released a statement last week saying he was exonerated by the grand jury.
If what he was talking about was our statement where we indicated that there was no evidence of widespread fraud or widespread vote fraud in the Georgia 2020 election, that might have been what he meant.
It's now up to Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to review the recommendations and make charging decisions.
If she has over 12 recommended indictments, that also means she has the ability to potentially flip some of those people.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith is also investigating Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 election, his role in the January 6th insurrection, and his possible mishandling of classified material.
A textbook program on OU's campus is bringing relief to students struggling with the high prices. OU Nightly's Ashley Vandevelde spoke with OU students about how much they've spent on books.
Every new semester, University of Oklahoma students grapple with a recurring problem: prices of textbooks. One student even told me he believes he spent thousands of dollars on textbooks in his 4-year career at OU.
Probably over 2,000 probably.
But OU libraries have a solution to help students: the Alternative Textbook Grant.
Trying to basically encourage faculty to adopt openly licensed resources like OER instead of the commercial textbooks that might cost students a lot of money, and so we offer this as an incentive to encourage them.
An informational meeting for faculty on Wednesday prompts hope for students that more instructors will switch to cheaper teaching materials.
The most expensive textbook I've had is $300, and it was for a class that we didn't really even use it for. And so that was my freshman year, and so from now on I kind of look and I wait for the first week to see if we even use the textbook and then decide to get the textbook, because it's just crazy how expensive they are.
Morgan Briles, the Open Educational Resources librarian, told me that the Alternative Textbook Grant application can be accessed at guides.ou.edu/ATG.
We found with the faculty who are awarded this grant that they tend to get a lot of really positive feedback from students about not having to, pay for an expensive textbook. And also, we've heard from faculty that they like the ability to customize their teaching materials.
Students hope that more faculty will partake in measures to help save them money. Ashley Vandevelde, OU Nightly.
Now more faculty are expected to take part in the Alternative Textbook Grant to aid students.
And a scary situation in Canadian County earlier this week.
How a fire left a frightening scene north of Calumet coming up. And heading farther west of Calumet, driving conditions are not looking great in the Texas Panhandle.
Stay tuned for that story and more in Earth Report.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
A frightening explosion rocked a community west of Oklahoma City. Eli Millard has that story and more in Earth Report.
Yeah, that's right. A woman was airlifted after an explosion at a home in Canadian County. Here's a video from our partners at News 9 showing how the explosion leveled the home. A woman tried lighting a hot water heater when extra gas in the basement caused the home to explode. The name and the condition of the victim is unknown. And a little farther out west, due to high winds in the Texas Panhandle, they're currently experiencing brownout conditions. Brownout conditions are when so much dust is in the air, it causes visibility issues. The National Weather Service office in Amarillo is urging people to stay off the road. The office also says high winds are expected through the evening. And a strong winter storm is making its way across the U.S., is already impacting air travel. More than 1,300 flights have already been canceled. Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport being heavily impacted due to the projected 15 inches of snow. The airline there is already issuing travel vouchers. Airlines say travelers can expect more delays and cancellations through the week. And don't worry, folks, nothing crazy here. The storm will only make us a little bit colder. Dakota, Olivia, back to you.
Thanks, Eli. And as Black History Month continues, nothing brings a community together like good food.
That's right, how students and faculty got a taste next on OU Nightly.
Our spring temperatures will switch up tonight.
Lauren Brand has more on that and some severe weather chances this weekend. Lauren?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to be talking to you about some severe weather coming up in your forecast.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question.
Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. Right now we are taking a live look across campus. Much different story from yesterday. Yesterday we were seeing overcast skies, but right now there is not a cloud in the sky. Temperatures right now are sitting in the lower 70s. Again, not a cloud in the sky. So that's going to drive up that temperature just a little bit. Winds are coming out of the southwest at around 19 miles an hour. It's been just a little bit breezy today. I could definitely feel my car moving on the road just a little bit from that wind. Dew point sitting around 37 degrees. But for your rainfall accumulations, we did have some storms come through last night. That didn't really affect Oklahoma City, the metro, or Norman all that much, but it had just a little bit of effect from Ardmore, McAllister, and up to Miami as well. They're the ones who really got the most amount of rain there, and it did have just a little bit of a dent on our drought conditions. We definitely needed just a little bit of that. But looking at your watches and warnings right now, a high wind warning is issued for parts of the Panhandle. Guymon is included in that. We are also in a wind advisory for parts of eastern Oklahoma. Tulsa is also included that as well. And back over towards the Panhandle of Texas, we are seeing some red flag warnings due to some of those fire dangers out there right now. But as for your hour by hour, if you were headed out tonight, temperatures are going to be slowly declining. It is going to be a beautiful night. We aren't really going to be declining all that much. And the skies are going to be pretty clear, just a little bit breezy though, so you may want a jacket just for that. But as for your lows tonight, we are going to be around 40 degrees, a little bit colder up here in northern Oklahoma. But as for your highs tomorrow, we aren't going to be as warm as we have been, 47 degrees here in Norman. But like I said, we are going to be seeing some severe weather probably on Sunday. Norman is in a slight risk, and Elk City and Woodward are also included in that enhanced risk as well. So definitely keep up with OU Nightly because we're going to have some more information on that. But for looking at this storm setup for Sunday, we're going to have a lot of warm, moist air coming up from the Gulf, and that's really what's going to set this up. Our jet stream is coming right on through the state, and you can kind of see that line right there. That's going to be where our dry line is, and that's where those storms are really going to start to be popping up. Again, like I said, we're going to have some more information on that as we get closer to Sunday. But for your high tomorrow, we're going to be around 47 degrees. It's going to be sunny skies, cooling down just a little bit. But for your Saturday, we're going to be warming back up just a little bit. 40% chance of rain. Winds coming out of the northeast around 5 to 15 miles an hour. And like I said, Sunday is when we're going to see those severe storm chances, more so for western Oklahoma. Monday is going to be around the same, and the rest of your week is going to look beautiful. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Lauren. African American Programs and Services hosted their inaugural Taste of Soul event this afternoon for students and staff.
The goal? To highlight African American cuisine where local Black-owned businesses showcase their soul food.
Angelique Price says that the essence of soul food is to create community and fellowship at these events.
Food, Black-owned, food vendors to come out and just kind of celebrate what is soul food, what is African American cuisine, and the story that it tells. So super excited about today's event.
The Black Faculty and Staff Association will be hosting their first skate event in Midwest City Sunday to wrap up Black History Month.
And Fletcher's Corny Dogs and Big Tex are back on the radar for Sooner fans.
OU Nightly's Parker Abels joins us. Parker, why are we talking about football in February?
Well, Dakota, the conferences may be changing, but the location of an annual October tradition is staying the same. All the details after this.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Hello and welcome into OU Nightly Sports. I'm Parker Abels. Well, Big Tex will continue to see plenty of crimson and burnt orange at the Texas State Fair. Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte told the media Monday that the Sooners and Longhorns plan to renew their deal with the Cotton Bowl, even with the move to the SEC in 2024. Del Conte also mentioned that he put in a request to make the Red River Showdown a 2:30 kick once the duo makes their way to the SEC, so Sooner fans may be kissing those 6 a.m. wake-up calls goodbye. Former Sooner linebacker Deshaun White was drafted in the 5th round of the USFL draft by the Michigan Panthers. White totaled 90 tackles and 2 sacks for OU in his senior season. He will now head north with hopes of giving at least one Michigan team a playoff win. In a battle of the 2 last-place teams in the Big 12, the Sooners men's basketball team went back and forth with Texas Tech in Norman Tuesday night. The Sooners hung in for most of the game, forcing 16 Tech turnovers, but in the end, OU just couldn't keep the Red Raiders from falling. They fell 74-63 and shooting just 9 for 32 from 3. OU head coach Porter Moser said the Sooners just needed to knock down some shots.
We've just missed so many shots, so many layups, so many shots. I thought we did a good job of forcing some turnovers early, creating some offense with that. But they weren't playing a couple of the guys. They were just sagging in on a couple of the guys, daring them to shoot. And you got to knock some of those down.
The Oklahoma City Thunder are back after some much-needed rest tomorrow night to take on the Utah Jazz. This will be their first game since last Wednesday when they launched the Houston Rockets back home. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, however, will get his first action since his 9-point outing in the NBA All-Star Game. And after an up-and-down opening weekend, the 2-2 Sooner baseball team is back in action for their first game away from L. Dale Mitchell Park as they travel to Arlington to take on Abilene Christian. The Sooners starting pitcher will be Braden Carmichael, who will be pitching to his younger brother, catcher Easton Carmichael. OU is coming off a win against Air Force in which Dakota Harris hit a huge 2-run double in the bottom of the 8th inning to seal the deal for OU. And with that, I think I'm going to swing it back over to you, Dakota and Olivia.
Thanks, Parker. Now, 2 music greats who are considered old rivals are coming together for a new single.
That's right. Find out who's rolling out the new tunes next on OU Nightly.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Beatles, Paul McCartney, and Ringo Starr are teaming up with the Rolling Stones on a new song.
The two bands have been considered rivals for 50 years, but have worked on music together before. This is the Stones' first original album in 18 years. Now, Olivia, I know you're a little bit of an oldies music fan, right?
I know, Dakota. I'm so tempted to sing just at the desk, but we're going to toss it over back to Lauren. We're going to get one more look at the weather before we have to go.
Yeah, guys, I'm definitely a Beatles fan myself, but taking a look at your hour by hour, we're going to start to cool down just a little bit. So if you're headed out the door, it's not going to be too cold. Definitely want to maybe grab that jacket just because of the winds, though. The winds may be just a little bit breezy, but taking a look at your 7-day forecast, we are going to, like I said earlier, Sunday, that's when we're going to see those severe storm chances, and it's going to be pretty mild the rest of your week, but this has been just a look at your weather forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
That's all we have for this edition of OU Nightly. I'm Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi.
And I'm Olivia Daig. Tune into OU Nightly weekdays at 4:30 and Fridays at 4. Good night.
Is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's